Hello, welcome to my Meatballcraft Base tour. So, I started this pack around 8/17 of 23, and I got the Defined Ingot 11/3 of 24. So, I haven't played the pack much since then. I've just looked at the updates and been checking some stuff out, but I haven't really made anything new or updated it since I got the fabled ingot. So started off. Let's look at my stuff. So here I have all my wrenches and just my random stuff. Some of my items. Here's my draconic armor. Here are my baubles. So, most of the parts of this base should have timestamps in the description. So, if you want to see like a specific part or like a general area of the base, you should check that. But this isn't a finished endgame base. Um, if you want to see one of those, you should check out I believe Nerdy Spider or Snock, who has a full gameplay, like a full playthrough up until recently for almost a whole pack. So those should be in the description, and also Lashmac, but um, that's Lashmac, so that's him. So here I have my terminals, my transmutation table, and my to-do list with a bunch of random stuff. My terminal, my A2 with all of my stuff, my interface terminal with patterns, pattern terminal, fluids with more stuff, and all those. A extended processing pattern terminal that also does fluids. Oops. A transmutation table, but this is a better version. So I have a lot of stuff in that. So moving on, I have the kind of crafting area, but I don't really craft here. So I have the basic, advanced, elite, ultimate. Most of you know what this is. Encoder. I have only had 5 drive blocks, and I just keep cleaning them out every time I run out of storage. So, and I also have 2 drive blocks for this, and I have one singular level maintainer for rainbow eggs and that. So I don't really like them. So here I have a bunch of manual machines, uh, just random stuff spread about. Here I have a crafting core with an ME interface. It's crafting all of this stuff. Sorry, I do this on demand. Here is my old AE2 processor, like manual, but doesn't matter. Here I had my passive for the Buildcraft chipsets. So I had a compact machine with the machine that makes them in the middle here. It was running 24/7 when I had it on a server. Here I have enchanting, and I need to replace this with an enchantment library from Curry Cat's mod, who's really awesome. Shout out him. Here's a bunch of plates for enchants. Here's more enchanting. There's Woot. Here is my first real set of armor that lasted me the longest time, so 5 months. And after that, I got this Draconic. So there's my Amulet of Vis and my Belt of the Traveler. So this charged this, and it made me jump everywhere and jump super fast. So moving around here. Here I have a bunch more random stuff. Just a quantum compressor, which this is an old setup before the multi-block got added. Matter condenser, more random stuff. A bunch of danks with random crap. And these are all quest book rewards. More stuff. I didn't even show my controller. And trophies throughout the whole pack. There's gonna be more of them, so. This is my 82 controller. I think it's 5,244 channels, if I remember correctly, but I don't even use close to that amount. So, oops. If I check here, I only have like this many. So, if anyone wants to do the math, that's how many there are. And here's a subnet, which is not that impressive. So, um, okay, moving on. Here is all of my different dimensions. So with this pack, I don't want to go to each and every one of them, but there's two exceptions. Here's my power. I'll show this one because it's technically part of the base. So solar arrays, these make like 6 million RF per tick. Here is a personal nanobot beacon with only saturation modifiers because when I made this, you couldn't craft any of the other ones for some reason. And here I have a setup with the creative solar array where it makes that much, which is a lot more than it normally makes. So with the phantom face or phantom energy face, I have it pointed at this creative solar array so it pulls more power. So that's very useful. So there's the nether, the end, Erebus, Aether, Emptiness, Between Lands, Twilight Forest, Space Station, which I'll show off later, the Moon, and Icica, which is a Divine RPG dimension. So, since there's so many dimensions in this pack, ooh, goodness, I have created this kind of portal hub using the astral teleportation. So here's all of the Divine RPG dimensions. Um, you should know what these are, but if you want, there they are. There's all of my Advent of Ascension ones, all the way up till Shireland, which is the final one, and all of these have their respective um, dimensions grass or respective Divine RPG dimensions grass under them to like tell myself, okay, this one's from this set of the game and so on. So coming back, here's the Nightmare Bed, which used to have a forbidden cheese to beat Vethia, but that's secret unless you want to know. So you can ask me maybe in the comments. But that's most of the dimensions for the whole pack. Here is my sorry, Tinker's Construct Smeltery, which at the moment just I guess makes me clear glass. I needed a lot of it. So there's that. Moving back. And we're back here. Oh. And I have my Ender Crafter that does whatever junk I want it to. But I haven't used that in a really long time. Here's my secret um, missing texture block. So, moving down a floor, I have my awesome Neves crafting storages. They don't do all my auto crafting. I only have 4 because I don't run the maintainer very often, so I don't need many. So here's all my interfaces for auto crafting, which you saw earlier. Here's all my package crafters, which you can see all the recipes for. Well, you can't, but there's a whole lot of them. You can you can check your own if you want to use the pack. Oops. Here's all my quantum rings for the networking to the rest of my base through this P2P subnet, and which is powered by that. So for this top floor, as you saw earlier, it's just a big ring with all these nice, pretty decorations. A For the base palette, I just really use cyan terracotta, um, asphalt from Divine RPG, and these kind of mahogany trees and these chiseled greatwood planks. So for the next part of the base, I'll show my above ground area, which you can see sneak peeks of all my other more important areas. But for this currently, I have my, well, here's a little crop setup that's not really used, it's just whenever I need it. Here's Bewitchment for my magic. All of these are, or most of these are automated with XNet, which is one of the best item mods around. Here is, over here, if I go through that nice tunnel, I get to my space area with my rocket machine, or rocket assembling machine that I used one time, or here at least. And here I have all of these advanced rocketry multi-blocks that kind of just they aren't used anymore, I believe. None of them are required, and I don't even believe you can make these anymore if I'm remembering correctly. They might have been disabled, so if I check crystallizer. Uh, I guess you can craft them still. But they used to be it's completely disabled. Or I believe they were going to be disabled for a chunk of them. So, moving on. If I walk this way, you can see my kind of bee and gardening area. So here I have an enchanted greenhouse growing acorns, I believe, for it's required for a later thing. So here's my forestry kind of bee area, which I have all of these bees. Where am I? There's this setup for just like whenever I can throw a million combs and get whatever I want. I have a little subnet here with a bunch of bees kind of just lying around, and I have them also in these chests. And here's a bunch of templates. Here I have all my bee types. So if you want to know what I'm running or what you should run, here's a bunch of them. And here's all of the combs. So originally I was gonna make this carpenter a lot nicer and prettier, but when I made this I was super tired and I just wanted to kind of rush, even though that was a really bad idea. And here I have my flower pedestals from the honey smelter bee that makes these honeycomb ingots. And here I have this builder, which was originally made to kind of get rid of these miscellaneous, or yeah, these Botania flowers that are super ugly because I didn't have a texture to them when we're placed, so I just made it like just get rid of them when they were there. Anyways, so here you can get a nice view of the base from the above ground and with all the nice pretty areas. So the next part that I'll show is my magic, the east wing, I guess, which I just set for all this magic stuff. So as you can tell, here's Botania, where I have the guilty pool, the runic altar, that thing, and more bees. Which I got these from, I believe it's the begonia or whatever Botania flower just makes bees. So here I have the pools for like a mana battery. There is a technical mana battery, but I don't like it because this is way faster and it looks cooler. So here's my passive setup for Botania. I just have this running with the setup where like if I have below a certain amount, so I have 2,000 of these dust things, it would drop a bunch of them. So then after that I would have 2,050, and then if I use 50 more, it makes 50 more. So it just loops and loops and loops. So here's my Arkenstone and Orchid setup that makes it's basically only made in this pack to make Arkenstone, and all of these are just a byproduct that I don't need. So the Arkenstone goes through this chain with a bunch of these fluids that I'll show you later, and it just eventually ends up with this recursive powder that's needed for stuff. So, and here's this kind of on-demand petal apothecary for whatever crafts I needed. So entropinium, orchid, um, and living pedestal, bunch of random junk. So this needs a this pack, sorry, has 2 extra Gaia boss fights. So the first and easy one, or the first and second ones are the normal ones, and the second or the third and fourth ones are have like special requirements where you can't have any non extra botany and botania, extra botany, botania, and vanilla items only for the boss fights. But fun fact, it ignores everything in your bauble slot, so you can technically just like you can throw like 1,000 or a stack of life charms in your um bauble slots, which just like gives you 64 totems, so that's really useful. So TPing back and coming back here. So, and here is my pure daisy setup for is the living gold, living rock, and living wood, which is needed for a bunch of random stuff. And forgot to say the Gaia altar, which is a custom multi-block for the pack, which is needed for stuff. So there's that. Moving on. Here is Abyssal So I went to all of the dimensions. So they're right there. Here's my energy pedestal where I used to have a bunch of these like statues, but they were super mega laggy, so I just got rid of them. And just replaced it with a another means of getting potential energy. So here I have my LP harvester, sacrificial altar, and PE sterilizer, multi-blocks, and my ritual altar up here. Here I have Corallium, Athaxium, Oblitus, and this passive compact machine for the Oblitus. And next, um, next up, here's my like miscellaneous magic area. So, this was made before these Dragonfire forges got the rework. So this is what they used to look like for anyone who somehow never knew. So they used to be much smaller. This looked completely different. So I have this big setup for on demand and I think passive down here for anything I need. Here's wizardry combiners. We also have rainbow gemstones passive. Um, and this one's on demand, I believe. There's sap spit, weeping blue petals, spirit fruits, and a this Valenite gateway is manual because I don't think it's really needed for that many important stuff. So I only made the one. Here I have Astral Sorcery, where I have all of these things passived. So, here's the Iridescent Altar, the Collectors, and I have this Illuminated Enchanter, Starlight Altar, and I have this setup for Dense Gravitite Ore. So, I believe I originally had 1,000 of it or something around that, and I got 60,000 of it because it's like one ore makes 400 something dust, which is really nice because you don't really need that much gravitite dust, and this is very slightly annoying to get. So here's my XNet setup. You'll see much more of this later. Here I have, oh sorry, here I have liquid starlight made in the light wells with these dark star crystals, which you get later. Here I have starlight infusers for resonating gems, these resplendent ingots, and my attunement altar. And here I believe this enchanter here makes celestial crystals, and those ones over there make everything required for the mythic machine case and these gravitite lenses. And here's another XNet controller. Here I had a ritual for Horologium, but since I don't really like Horologium for Tick Excel, it's not used, and I just barely used it anyways until I got Torturino and the Time Traveler B, whatever it was called. So here I have a grindstone and star metal ore on passive as well. Moving forward. Ooh, sorry. Here I have my unidentified ingot setup with the creation altar on passive completely, where it uses all of these random things and this fills the egg and it makes the ingots, which is used for some end game stuff. And here is blood magic. I used to have what are these called? The altars on passive here, but I hence removed them and replaced them with the Berserker Forge and this multi-block, which uses kind of the same setup that I was talking about earlier to passive, but it's much more complicated. Um, I can show you down here. So I'm using packagers and a XNet to stock up all of these packagers with the items, and you can see what it looks like in here. And there's logic channels, which are really, really awesome, and the storage is down here. Here is the corrupted library, which makes all of the will crystals for um, blood magic. So those are really neat. But fun fact, oh, I don't have them here, but originally this multi-block has these two blocks in these corners where no matter what, it spawns mobs. So currently I don't have them there, so it's just disabled. And here I have this multi-block and that multi-block running. This one's on passive to make me these blood shards, and that one's running to make me world threat, I believe. And so here's my Thumbcraft room. There's workbench. Here's my phytogenic insulator vis crystal setup that anyone who's played this pack probably knows about. So made this forever ago and did all the maths on it to get it to run kind of perfectly with all these Essentia crystallizers. Here I have these on-demand multi-blocks, so they just run whenever I want them to. And I also have a runic matrix here that just kind of does whatever I want. And I can show this area too. So I have a manual thaumatorium. Here I smelt stuff. This was for I think the mad scientist bee. This was for I don't even remember. This was for primordial motes, something with those to get like little fragments of it. Here I have that thing, which is a boss fight. This summons a giant ore blob. Red matter furnace. Here's my bewitchment ritual things. I just switch it out whenever. And witch's altar with the lovely blessed stone. Thank you for adding that. And here's a space chamber for my compact machine setup, which you'll see earlier. Here's a spatial I/O, which is fun because it's required for something, so I like that I got to use it. But and I think that's about it for this area. So if I go back, back. Okay. So here's a bunch of passive setups. I have these in this passive infuser multi-block. Here I have these passived with these workbenches. Here I have thaumatoriums passiving all of these items, if you can tell. Here I have essentias and these flowers to make sure there's no flux whenever it happens. So, because there used to be a bug where it would crash whenever some compact machine wall got replaced with the flux kind of variant. So I added those just to like be ultra mega sure that would never happen. And if you just heard, that was rain, which on my world never happens because of a bug with advanced rocketry where it's like if any space station is loaded, there's no more rain for some dumb reason. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure they know about the bug too, so they just don't fix it. Oh, I forgot. Here's my blood magic altar, which I have under here. So I have this one that's to charge my blood orb and make me life essence. And I have this one down here to make me slates and lanthanum salt. So I'm I'm proud of that area. I really like it. So continuing on, I think that's it for the magic area. Oh no. I also have this iridescent altar set up here for when I couldn't make it, or I made this before I got a collector crystal, so before I could just not place it anywhere, because this is in one of those areas where I get a bunch of extra starlight, so it's really useful. So, for the next area of my base, it's my mining, kind of northern wing of the base. So, here I have my void ore miner running. It's that fast with a bunch of extra stuff, and it goes in this interface and this AE2 subnet, and it stores all these ores. So if you want to look at all of these, here you go. And it just dumps everything from those mythic processors into this section, and then anything that can be smelted into an ingot gets dumped into here. So I just store it again into these bunch of drawers, and it just has a bunch of stuff like nickel. The one thing is I know a lot of these have EMC, but I kind of just liked having it in this way anyways, but it wouldn't be that hard to convert it into making it with EMC anyways, so I didn't really bother. So here I have that item on passive and that on passive, and a bunch of random junk. And I think there's more, in case you want to know. So here is the most important room in the pack. So these are void resource miners, which are these things based off of all of the AOA 3 dimensions and a couple extras, which you'll see, which you unlock throughout the pack in a thing with the in areas called mythic shells. So this one could be 0, which I like to call. I don't think it's technically called 0, but I like to say it's 0. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and I'm not sure what that one is. I think it's 5, but I'm not entirely sure. So all of these run off of like a respective input, but for this first one, for example, it only runs on power. See, it's got no other inputs, so it's just a power thing. So it makes and all of them make a bunch of random items that are all needed at some point in some way, shape, or form. And as you can see, they even make EMC bouncy pots. So starting from all of them, here's the Terra Void Miner. nether, end, terragenic, nethenjaic, and endergenic. So here's Mythical Shell 1. So these are their respective fluids. And here's the setup I have in a compact machine to make them all. So starting from it. And starting from here on, all of them make these garnet items. So as you can tell, this Percasia one makes a Percasia garnet and so on. And all of them have very lovely textures. So starting with it, it's Percasia, Liliaceae, Barathos, Creeponia, Deeplands, Abyss, and that's it. Here's my, and okay, here's the second shell, which runs off of these fluids, and they run off of this very compact setup, and all of that. So, starting off, they are Vox Pawns, Mysterium, Aramine, Haven, Candyland, Celev, Gardensia, and Christevia. And that's Mythic Shell 2. So the next one is these sets. And this one's special because it only runs off of 2 fluids. So it runs off of galactic matter and it runs off of lymphopixonia, which you'll see later. So the setup's really not that complicated. It's just like one thing. So it's Runandor, Lunalis, and Borean. So that's those ones. And here we have shell 4. So it runs off of these fluids. Ooh, I guess shell 5. And that's the setup. So they are Ancient Cavern, Immortalis, Grekken, Dystopia, and Vethia, which is a bit of a special one because I think you unlock it a little bit after these ones. So, but that's after you do the Nightmare Dimension, which is Vethia. And after that one, you can start crafting these Railgar. So I have my nice setup over there for it, and you'll see that item later. And then here I have 8 Shirelands miners because at that time the call stone to get these things in bulk didn't exist yet, so I just had to spam 8 of them and wait. So the setup for that looks like this. So that's all of my void miners. So I can go into so I can go into spectator mode and show you what all of them look like from the outside. So that's them. And moving on up one floor, I have Woot. This isn't that special. It's just a Woot farm. I originally was gonna make another one, but I didn't make it because I was kind of lazy, and I think one was enough anyways. So I just have it under here, making all this junk. And I have this ultimate mob farm here making void skills because I ran out eventually at one point. Anyways, here's Woot. Or not Woot, sorry. I think it's, yeah, Deep Mob Evolution, the mod with 20 names. So I just have this nice setup in this room I'm really proud of. Making all of whatever for stuff that I need at some point. So that's that part. And so that is the mining wing, I guess. Making making resources out of basically nothing. So I forgot one area, I believe, which you might have gotten a glimpse at earlier. So it is down here. So this is my basement area. So I have all my EMC stored items going into all of these drawers and from yada yada yada. So like stuff like this, glass, and just a bunch of random stuff. And steamed slime, which is a setup I made one time and never again. So here I have my extreme reactors reactor, which I've only needed this small of a one since I really didn't need it for much. And you can get cyanite from mythic processors at one point, so I didn't really have to upgrade it. And I'm sure a lot of you want to know, here's my energy ball. I make this much power, and I have that much. So that's that. So continuing on. Ooh, let me go on to the machines area. Hold on. Okay, so here's my passive and I guess on-demand wing. So here I have a bunch of mythic processors for whatever I need. They all run on demand. So I have all of these things on whatever and a bunch of patterns to just run whatever I want. Here I have this passive kind of setup over here that makes a bunch of nuclear craft stuff. Like this is a nuclear craft with plastic. This I had for all of the AOA 3 dimensions ores. So yeah, here I just threw a bunch of their ores into this kind of setup, so it just kind of shuffled through and processed them all at the highest rate. And here's a bunch of other stuff in case you want to know. Even Insanium's on passive. So, and I also have this compact machine to make more compact machines. So I can push that button and it makes one. So I push it and I come inside. Uh, it doesn't work half the time, but I could take one. And this is using that space the RF tools thing you saw at the spawn area during the after the Thaumcraft section. So it takes a minute and it should eventually pop out a compact machine. Just waiting. And you get one. And I think it dumped it outside, so. Just give it a minute. And there it is. So that's how that works. So moving on. Here's my manual plasmatic condenser that's running off of, I think is it down here? No. But it's running off the dense plasma whenever it, oh yes. It's for it runs off of this machine and it makes the plasma. And I forgot there's this little area down here for any on demands I might need. So here I have a recursive processor blaster for something. Here I have a carbonite empower for, I believe it's the one. Yes, Hihi Hurricane, I think. Here I have a setup for, I guess, whatever this made. So, I don't know. I don't remember what it was for. And there's that. And I even have this painted cobblestone to save on materials because those blocks are pretty expensive. Here I have a Draconic Evolution fusion crafting on demand area. So I have it in 8 instead of 9 because I thought it would be funny in case it annoys someone that don't have 9. And 8 YouTube channels, but you don't need to know that reason. And here's a bunch of upgrade keys for Draconic armor and my uh, Staff of Power that I don't use because the damage for the damage on it's actually kind of bad, so I didn't use it. Here I have a rainbow generator as well. That makes a lot of noises and is really pretty, and it makes rainbow stone and this junk whenever I need it. Here I have a gravitational collapser that makes infinity catalysts, and you're like, what? Aren't those expensive? But in this pack, they they're first you make them this way with a with this method with like all of this junk. So like it takes 5,000 insanium to get the first one, but after you get the first one, you can use this bright matter recipe and just make it with EMC, which is really sweet. So anyways, here I have Arbitrarium for defined ingot, which I'll show you later. So I have it in this compact machine here. So that's it. Oh my goodness. Here I have a inertial confinement reactor, which makes all of these things. Um, so that's actually it for this side. Here and here's the bulk of my passive in the base. So here's all of these like special kind of space blocks that all kind of you can see they all turn into these essences from mystical agriculture. So I don't need to make like uh 20 mystical agriculture props when I or crops. I could just have this one setup that makes all of this for me. And here I have my chicken chunk, you could say, with this is the true chicken chunk of these multi blocks that were added to save on the roosts, but I still have those. Here's a bunch of random stuff. Here's I think this is scrap box opening. Here's a quantum compressor for gold singularities. Here's the setups for like this crankshaft. So I have all of these rods, and it goes into there. Here I have a ton of gears, and I make this complex gearbox. Here's more plates. These aren't required, but I wanted to, or some of these are. But then I have it make these high strength transmissions through that. And as you saw earlier, I have the plasmatic condensers. So I have one with all of them each with their own thing to make dense plasma. So here I have sedonite to make sedonite, which is really important. Here I have one for myrmitite, and here I have one for ogreite. And I have to make more, but I can't remember if I have to make more. But I made this room in a way so it's really easily expandable with quotation marks. So, anyways, here's the true passive room. So, for anyone who cares, here's this chunk of passives. Here's this chunk of passives. And here's this chunk of passives. Here I have a ton of sequential fabricators in this kind of format, making all of these things. Here I have, what are these called again? The actually additions and power that makes all of these things. Um, Over here I have a whole lot. So all of these eggs come into here, and they're all used to make all of these like special materials with this shadow fracture multi-block. So it makes all of these in like super high quantities. So I have a lot of them. So I love this setup so much. So I have all of those, and you can see all the stuff it makes. And these are made with that oblitus you saw earlier, and you might have seen these earlier as well. So it stuffs them in there and it makes stuff. Here I have my draconic passive and more passive over there, and a compact machine to make all of these stars and dream clusters and yada yada, and mandrakes. Here I have this gigantic room for all of this junk. So I'll just skim through this pretty quickly, but I'll let you get a look at what I'm making. So I have all of these things, and I have these. And fun fact, these chaotic condensers, I believe, are one of, if not the first multi-blocks made in the pack, because they're super ugly. And here I have a bunch of melters for defined. So, in which is the one of the biggest crafts in the pack, but I think it's the craft with the most singular ingredients that aren't like combined. Here I have these things and another XNet controller, and I forgot to show you, but all of these setups are uh made with XNet, and XNet's really great in this pack for networking and item logistics, so I love it. Here I have the particle accelerator line to make a bunch of random junk that I need for other stuff. Yeah, these time crystals and these superconducting mithril thingamajigs. And here's a multi-block that I made much too late. The Tree of Life, which a bunch of you might know of. So it makes nothing for me, but or nothing currently because it's just on demand. And down here I have this broken setup for corrupted aragonite or aragonite. I'm not sure. So I have all these Abyssal Craft crystallizers making whatever. I need to redo the setup anyways, so um moving on. I have you can get a good view from the outside of these kind of areas on the outside. So here's the all the multi-blocks, here's the cube and the inside of the cube. So there's that. Oops. Well, anyways, that was the end of the real passive kind of wing of my base. But that's it. Okay. Anyways, moving on to the last couple areas. Here I have in my void dimension my mystical agriculture setup. So it's all of these plants with room to expand that I copied from my Divine Journey 2 world, kinda just a look. And here I have amaryllis seeds. Here's all the essences. It's stored, it's crafted, and here's a setup for garnet dust and a bunch of random stuff. I'm not a big fan of this kind of setup or how these crafts are really working, but that's what he made. So that's that. So moving on, there's all the dimensions, and here's a space station, which is my second favorite part of the base. But here's my first floor with my rocket, and you can see all the ugly undersides. I originally intended to cover most of this with the sky blocks from whatever mod it's from, but Curry Cat that made the enchantment library, I believe, is working on a much more um, optimized version, so I'm gonna make this much better looking whenever he finishes that. So, in case I make a video on that, there you go. So here's the warp controller, which I can't show because it's might ruin the bit rate, so I don't want to really test it. So here I can call my elevator down. That's made with the RF Tools elevators. And in case it wasn't obvious, this is a advanced rocketry space station, and this isn't oxygenated, so as you can see in the bottom, I'm losing oxygen slowly, but it's not really a problem. But anyways, if you were paying attention to the start of the video, here's the nuclear hull. Um, as you saw in the beginning, it had Fulbright, but I wish it didn't, because I think it looks better, but lighting glitches are making it really ugly right now, so not really trying to fix that. But as you can see, there's a ton of reactors, and I'll go through them all one by one. So, and that's all of them. This reactor is the one that's super fancy and cool because I thought this one would have to be super fast because I guess uranium was used the most, but it wasn't really. So I think this was kind of like mega super overkill. So I didn't really do it again after this one. So, and that's all the reactors, but that's not all of the reactors. Here I have a bunch of Nuclearcraft fusion ones, or really just two. This one's running on hydrogen and lithium 6 to make tritium and helium, I guess. Here I have running on lithium 7 twice to make neutron fluid and helium, and I get again, I guess. And originally, this one was boron. I don't remember which isotopes, but that one kept melting down 20 times, and I never realized it because the normal maximum temperature of boron and boron is way above the melting temperature. So it took me a really long time to figure that out. Here I have my meteoric befaller, which is another multi-block, if it wasn't obvious, to make some stuff. Yeah, technetium and these things. So, and here's the unholy radioactive mix setup for whatever I need it for. I think it was just a sandstone and something else. I don't remember. But and last in the line, I have what was it called? This linear plasma accelerator. But this could technically replace every one of those fusion reactors, but I don't want to because it's I'm lazy. And technically I can replace all of these nuclear reactors with like 10 multi or the two-phase fission, but I don't want to because I think they're ugly. And I like these more because I did not spend all of this time building this nice reactor hall to not use it. So that's the second floor of my uh space station. So next is the third floor. So on this side we have nuclear craft turbines. So I have these two running for whatever fluid I needed. I can't remember. So I think it was just for defined ingot. So everything's for defined ingot anyway. So here's my molten salt reactor, which is not that bad, but it's really annoying. So the pre-built designs for these are in the pack already. You can look them up and find them and just copy what I did. But my setup uses 5 long, but it's only really like 2 or 3 long, so I don't let the fissile fuel go all the way to the end. And here's a bunch more passive setups for a bunch of defined products. There's another reactor. Here's more. There's a black hole. And here's the molten salt reactor for Einsteinium and all of its products. And once again, almost or basically all of these are controlled with XNet. Like there's a controller under there, there's a controller under there, there's one there, there's one there. So I love XNet. So I believe that's about it for my nuclear hall. And oh, yes. I have all of these dislocators for different portals. So in case I need a TP, there's way more planets than this, but I just didn't make them because I was kind of lazy. But that's it for my space station. So that brings me to the definer. So here I have this giant multi-block with all of these conduits coming in, taking out all of these fluids. that makes one single item. Interesting. But this is the whole recipe. That is a divine dingo recipe. It is a very gigantic recipe, and I decided to stop for the meanwhile right here because the mod pack dev keeps adding so much stuff, so I just decided to like call it quits for now in case anyone who cares got this far. But there's all of the products. So I made this really nice, pretty periodic table over a good long while. And it took me a full month to finish this whole thing and get it running. So that's about it for the video. So if you want to see a good playthrough, uh, watch Snock's stuff. Her videos are really great, and I thank you for watching. For anyone who's got this far or has watched the whole thing, thanks a lot. So, uh, bye.